Talking with Michael Atherton here in Auckland towards the end of this English series against New Zealand. Michael, troubling times, I guess, in Zimbabwe in terms of especially a one-day game. You came here, people were saying, well, England, are they up to it? Do we have to make drastic changes? Things have changed a wee bit now, haven't they?
Things have gone well for us. When we arrived, there was a lot of criticism flying around, but we felt that really to get the tour off to a good start, win the 2 warm-up games well, which we did. And everything's gone from there. Let's look at the Test series first of all. I guess it could have been 3-0, couldn't it? You were a bit stiff here in Auckland with Morrison and Astle, but you played pretty well overall. Yeah, generally our performances were consistent. We had a bad start to the first Test match here where we bowled poorly on the first morning. We'd won all our games, shoving the opposition in, bowling them out, getting a lead and bowling them out again, and we really bowled poorly on that first morning. But for that, I think we'd have won the match. As it was, we got back into the game and still gave ourselves a great chance of winning on the last day. But for Danny Morrison and Nathan Astle, we would have got there. Do you think in hindsight, it's easy to say, and we all analyse these things in depth, that when it's all over, perhaps you could have played Robert Croft here in Auckland? Yeah, I think looking back, that was a mistake. But as I say, the way we'd be winning games was putting the opposition on fairly damp and grassy pitches, playing 4 seamers. And getting a big lead batting second time round. We went into the Test match trying to follow that same policy, but the wicket perhaps didn't do as much as we liked, or we'd have thought. We didn't bowl as well as we could have, and in the end we missed the second spinner on the last day.
It's away through the square leg area, quite a short boundary down to the big south stand. Through again, this time it is the offside, there's no third man. Cork can't get there. This really is poor stuff from England.
Fleming has launched into that and lifted it over mid-wicket for 6.
A superb piece of timing by Stephen Fleming. He really has batted very confidently.
You crash it through the covers like that for 4 more. Look at that little shimmy down the pitch, and a great placement too. That was another feature of a very well-balanced innings from him. He's got a very good temperament, has Fleming, and that joy was well-deserved. He gets a hug from teammate Chris Cairns. He really did play extremely well, and all credit to him. That's gone high in the air. It's a short boundary, and it's 6. Terrific timing, and all because he was in such a good position when he played the stroke. That's good stroke by Atherton. Very good stroke indeed.
Stewart's onto that. It's flashed away to the square leg fence. Beautiful shot. That is a brilliant cricket stroke, hitting the ball in front of square. Smashed through extra cover this time. Lovely juicy half volley, and Alex Stewart will put those away all day. Well, that's a bad mistake. Doull should have got something on that, but all that's happened is that Alex Stewart's gone to a very well made at 150. Top innings this by Alex Stewart, continuing a very rich vein of form indeed.
And that's gone through the covers for 4.
Yeah, every now and then you just feel like you want to nod off and something great happens.
I was talking earlier this morning about the signs in Thorpe's game that suggests he's back on song, and that stroke to me is as good a signal as you'll get. Through the gap, and that'll be 4. It'll bring up the 100 for Graham Thorpe. A really brave performance from him after a difficult time in Zimbabwe.
Hussein's hung on. England have got the breakthrough. Young is the man that goes. England rejoice. New Zealand are 17 for 1.
Oh, that's close. Very close and out. Steve Buckner has another of his long waits. Darren Gough has got a wicked Yorker, and it's worked again for England.
Catch it! Big shout of catch it, and Steve Dunn's fingers up straight away. Crawley's taken the catch. Fleming's gone. That's the wicket England were after.
Super fielding from Hussain. One-handed pick up and throw, and Jamon was stranded by a couple of yards.
Gone.
That's beautifully bowled from Tufnell, and not very good batting from Perori, who is out for 33, and New Zealand are 90 for 5.
That's turned a long way. That's gone. That's turned out of the rough. Vaughan's tracked right in front. Tufnell's done the business. New Zealand now are 6 down for 92.
Bowled in. Well, he's got a wicket. Cairns has chopped on. Big shout. It's got to be close. It is out. Buckner's finger goes up. Mullally bowling a screaming Yorker, dismisses Deepak Patel for naught. That's his pair, and it's New Zealand's 8th wicket down. And that's it. There's the in-swinging Yorker, perfectly pitched, perfectly bowled. Top stuff from Darren Gough.
Voice over my shoulder says they haven't won yet, Ian. I think, well, it'd be something else altogether if they didn't.
Well, there are many an uneducated comment made around a cricket ground.
Full toss and it's full.
Astle wants that run very much indeed. He's brought up his 50. Very well played. That's beaten Hussain.
And this time a thunderous cover drive.
Well, Tufnell can't believe it. Astle's gone for it, he's got it through. That is a truly magnificent century for Nathan Astle. His 3rd Test match 100, 2 against the West Indies, now 1 against England. And that concludes this Test match. Nathan Astle finishing 102 not out. Danny Morrison not out 14. Astle and Morrison have thwarted England.
At the time that you'd walked away from Eden Park, obviously it must have been very frustrating not to have won that Test match. Did you think at any stage, oh, no, here we go again?
Well, it was slightly frustrating because we'd got so close in Bulawayo as well. We'd got within 1 ball of victory there. And so what was really important was when we got to Wellington and got within a sniff of winning that we actually pulled it off, because I think that just settled everybody and calmed everybody's nerves.
Let's talk about that Wellington Test match, because it was a very good all-round performance, a late start and then a very crucial sort of last session on the first day.
That, well, you could say that one as the game, really. We bowled well. New Zealand didn't bat as well as they might have done, and we had them 6 or 7 down on that first evening. And when you bowl a side out for 120 in the first innings of a Test match, you're virtually home and dry.
And I thought on that Test match in particular, you brought Andy Caddick into the side. I thought he was quite inspirational for you.
I thought he made a huge difference because he bowled particularly well with a new ball, which we hadn't had in the first Test match at Auckland, where we'd been a bit wayward, and our close catching behind the wicket was absolutely outstanding in that game.
Edged and caught. Nasser Hussain takes the catch in the slips. Cairns goes for just 3. New Zealand in tatters now. They're 5 down for 23.
Out. Amazing. Just smashed it on the up, straight into the hands of Robert Croft at mid-off.
Dominic Cork does the business, and Nick Knight takes the catch. New Zealand lose their 9th wicket with 106 on the board. That's lolloped up in the air to mid-off. Cork takes the catch, and the New Zealand innings is complete. 124 all out.
Slower ball, waited for and clubbed away down the ground by Alex Stewart. That brings up his 50, and he acknowledges a very appreciative Basin Reserve crowd. This could be out. That's a brilliant catch, absolutely fantastic catch. It was almost an afterthought, but it went very, very quickly.
Saint's gone after that, lofted over mid-on, and magnificently struck for 6. The shot of the day comes from Nasser Hussain. Short from Patel, Thorpe steps back, smashes it away behind point for 4 runs and another Test match half-century for Graham Thorpe. Edged and goes to slip. Hussain's on his way, and a first Test match wicket for Daniel Vettori. The ploy has worked. Hussain looking for the ball around leg stump. Vettori moved his line, and he's accounted for England's top scorer.
And Crawley has launched it back Patel out of the ground. And Graham Thorpe taking the challenge on and got hold of that pretty well. And picks up 4 for it, but Vettori needn't be disheartened.
Thorpe down the track, he's got there. Successive Test match centuries for Graham Thorpe. His 4th 100 in all. And it's been a faultless performance.
So England all out for 383 in the end. They were going well at 340 for 4, but Thorpe and Crawley were dismissed, and they rather fell apart after that. Good 100 from Graham Thorpe. That's his 2nd in succession, and support there from Stewart, from Hussain and from Crawley. Best of New Zealand's bowlers Simon Doull, 5 for 75, and a nice performance in his 3rd Test match from Jeff Allett. A particularly nice effort from Daniel Vettori. 2 wickets there, and he's just 18 years and 11 days old on debut.
That was good length, nothing wrong with that. And Caddick shouldn't be disheartened. It's a brilliant stroke from Brian Young, and it takes him to an extremely good 50 as well. Beautifully bowled, and must be gone now. Well, the England players think he is, and so does Steve Bucknor. Oh, that must be close this time. Is it too high? It's out. Given out by Steve Bucknor. Oh, it must be in the air and is out, surely here. Caught by Croft, that's terrific cricket.
He's gone, no stroke played. That's fair enough from Steve Bucknor. Just thrusting the pad at the ball. The night watchman's gone. Patel picks up another duck. And now New Zealand are 4 down.
Edged and out, brilliant catch. Absolutely brilliant, that was flying. And Nick Knight has held on to an absolute screamer at 2nd slip.
That's a great catch. That is a great catch. What a tour Alex Stewart is having, and the aggression of the New Zealanders with the bat has cost them again. No problem at all that time. Nick Knight's going to catch those until the cows come home.
Bowled, perfect Yorker, and Andy Caddick has thoroughly deserved that. That's it. Up goes umpire Cowie's finger, Chris Cairns goes, and England have won a Test match abroad. Just the 3rd one in the last 26 Test matches.
Then you went to Christchurch and you had to concede a first innings lead of 118. So it needed a good comeback, and you produced one.
Yeah, we played relatively modestly for the first 2 games of that game, first 2 days of that game, where we conceded a lead of 120 by bowling not as well as we could have done, and then some sloppy batting. But the key to winning the game was coming out and bowling New Zealand out second time round. We really came out positive and aggressive in our bowling and our fielding. Bowled them out for 180, which was slightly too many again, with the tail wagging. But it gave ourselves enough time to score the runs necessary.
That's an edge. And Matt Horne's resistance is over. A brave effort, but it's all over for Matt Horne now. New Zealand are 7 down for 107.
There's a deep extra cover, a deep mid-off, a deep mid-on, a deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square for Cairns. And Cairns wants to take them all on. And catches, brilliant, brilliant. Nick Knight was the man out there. That's an extraordinary piece of cricket. Cairns just seemed to pick out Knight. Looking to hit the ball away over extra cover. And this is a safe pair of hands from the Warwickshire cricketer.
That's got him. Goff's done the trick at last. New Zealand 9 down. That's well caught by Alex Stewart. New Zealand are all out for 186. And England will need 305 runs to win this Test match.
Let's talk about the form of Michael Atherton on the Test series side of things, particularly in Christchurch. Very pleasing effort for you there.
Yeah, I played well. I felt that I'd had a real struggle in Zimbabwe. I felt things had come right for me since we'd had a game at Hamilton, where I worked really hard on my batting. And I felt coming into the first Test match at Auckland that things were clicking. And it really was at Christchurch where everything fell into place. And whilst they weren't kind of dashing innings, you know, I really felt in control, didn't feel as though I was going to get out, and happy to keep plodding away and tighten the runs up.
And Thormore. That's brilliant from the England captain, and a problem for Simon Doull.
At last, Atherton gets the spinner away, and all the way. Another 50 for Michael Atherton. He salutes the England supporters first, then the dressing room.
Lovely stroke from Michael Atherton, the very best of him. Good balance and a resounding crack to the cover boundary. Oh, that's a lovely stroke as well. Atherton moves to 98. Down the ground, and that'll bring the 11th Test 100 for the England captain. And a quite outstanding innings it has been as well.
And the captain's vigil is over. Brilliant performance from Michael Atherton. 94 not out in the first innings and 118 here in the second innings. 4 balls now. Big appeal, and Hussein's gone. There's trouble here for England. Pad and then glove, says Darrell Hare. He's out. Down the track, looking to dominate. And all he's done is chip the ball back to Vettori. Thorpe has gone for 2, and England are in deep trouble. And that's through, and it's going to go for 4. It's a good shot. Crawley's given himself room and hit Vettori through the offside. That's good, positive cricket from John Crawley. Oh, just wide. It's gone for 4. But again, things just look as though they're slipping away from New Zealand here. And then when it's short like that, keep your eye on it and hammer it away through the leg side for 4. Super shot. Onto his toes, John Crawley. That's a shot of true class. Hammered through extra cover for 4. That's flicked away, and jubilation from Dominic Cork and from John Crawley, who've done a brilliant job. They really have done a marvellous job. Crawley grabs the stumps. The England players are triumphant, and how they've deserved this series victory.
And good opportunity to talk to two of New Zealand's greatest ever cricketers, Sir Richard Hadlee and John Wright, just on the strength of both sides that we've noticed throughout the series. First of all, Sir Richard, England came in to New Zealand under a bit of a cloud because they played pretty poorly by their own admission in Zimbabwe, but they haven't looked that bad while they've been here.
No, I think they've played very well. I think they've erased the memories of Zimbabwe that I guess the results were disappointing for them. I felt before they arrived that there wouldn't be too much between the two teams here in New Zealand and the series would be fairly evenly matched. I think the key difference at the end of the day is that their professionalism has shone through at key times, and the fact there's been a lot of consistency about their play. And when I mean consistency, players have had a good run of success, like Graham Thorpe, back-to-back hundreds, got some runs in the one-day games as well. Whereas if you compare that, say, with the New Zealand players, might get 100 one day, 3 or 4 misses before they have an average performance. And so that, to me, has been the key difference between the two sides. England have been far more consistent.
Well, let's look at the batting, John, because that's your department. Michael Atherton, huge pressure on his shoulders coming here, but in terms of a specialist batting role, I think he's gone from strength to strength.
Yes, I think he's had a tremendous tour. He was here under a lot of pressure. Everyone was after him, and he's produced. And that's key to England. I've been really impressed with Alex Stewart. I mean, 32, 33, the fitness of the man. Big 100 first up. I think England batted well in the first test, which was important. They were chasing a big total, and it's always important to get in that first test match. They did the business there. They only batted twice in the first 2 test matches. Let themselves down in Christchurch, should never have been allowed back into the game by a side after batting so badly in the first innings. But then under pressure again in the second innings, you know, they put together a good chase. Atherton particularly impressive in that match. And then Crawley and Cork under a lot of pressure winning the game. So a lot to be happy in the batting department from England. I don't know if they've been fully tested by this New Zealand attack, but particularly Atherton, Stewart, Thorpe, Key, Crawley looks useful. They should go well against the Australians this year.
What about the bowling then, Sir Richard? What are the elements of the bowling that have impressed you, and who do you think have still a lot to work on?
New Zealand or England?
England, I'm talking.
England. Darren Goff's bowled well. I mean, 19 wickets in a 3-match test series is a very, very good return for the effort that he put in. Cork a little bit disappointing. I think we know that he's better than that. I think he's probably been a bit underdone. The fact that he didn't go to Zimbabwe and have been out of cricket for a while. Just took him a little while to settle down here. I think Croft has bowled very well, the off-spinner, and he and Tufnell, I think, complement each other quite nicely. Caddick, too, I think, has been very impressive. We know he's a New Zealander, and the fact that he's decided to go to England, to be qualified for England, been in and out of the side a little bit in recent times, some injury problems, but here, with his height, with his bounce, and got the ball to move away beautifully, he's almost been the pick of the quicker bowlers, even though Goff's had the statistical reward.
OK, you said earlier that you thought going into the series the sides would be quite even. Is it that England have played so much better, or have New Zealand disappointed you?
I think New Zealand have disappointed. We talk about players and sides having potential. Sooner or later, potential must be realised, and 1 or 2 players have been under par, to be honest, and we just haven't had enough big performances. And clearly, and John Wright and yourself would know that you've got to have at least 6 players performing to their potential in every match, you know, to outdo your opposition. And we've literally been having just 1 or 2, either a batsman or a bowler doing his piece, and not enough. And so, yeah, the New Zealand performance have been disappointing, but the professionalism of England have made sure that they've made New Zealand pay through that.
Let's look at the batting, the New Zealand batting then, John. There's obviously a problem there. They haven't quite settled on a top order. No.
I mean, number 3's critical position. Matthew Horn came in, looked pretty good, hurt his hand, so there's a problem there. Stephen Fleming, good 100 in the first test, but struggles with the spin. We lack consistency. We've got to have players that can occupy the time at the crease and have a particular structure about their game. They don't seem confident that they can go out and say, this is my game and this is how I play. It seems to be different every day. And therefore, the consistency factor, it's really been a problem. I mean, really looking at the series, we were told in the newspapers and through the media how badly England were playing in Zimbabwe and what a poor English side this was. And we were going to, you know, deal to them, basically. We didn't. We were soundly beaten in both tests, probably, well, in 3 almost. It's been most disappointing. So for us, we've got an awful lot of work to do. But it comes back to self-discipline and knowing your capabilities. Maybe we need a little bit more experience. That's the one thing that, you know, we do lack. But the New Zealand players should be looking at the professionalism of the English players. They have as much ability, but it's really producing it on the day and knowing how to do it. And our batsmen, it's a day-to-day proposition.
Really, we didn't play percentage cricket when we batted, and we played too many big shots. And shot selection was indiscriminate, really, wasn't it? And I think we paid a price for that. And the classic example, I think, was Stephen Fleming in that innings down in Christchurch in the third test, bogged down by Croft. He bowled well, and all of a sudden have a whack against the line just before stumps and put the other players under a lot of pressure.
We don't seem to be able to bat time, and in test matches that's critical. You know, they have the ability, they've got all the shots. They seem much more capable and comfortable in the one-day scene. And if we're going to get back into test matches, we're going to have to play percentage cricket and bat time, and with some self-discipline.
OK, gentlemen, thanks for those thoughts.